Almost every creator that you love watching is really good at this one particular skill. And it's not their hooks or their editing or even their ideas. It's how they talk to the camera. Now, this is how I used to talk and sound like.
Hey guys, I hope you guys are all having a really good holidays. I know I will be, as soon as my holiday starts tomorrow.
Well, clearly I do not talk and sound like that anymore, so I fixed it, and you can too. So I'm gonna give you the basics on how to actually get good at it, and then we are going to knock out every problem that you might hit along the way. First thing we gotta do, we need to just calm ourselves down, because you're probably feeling a bit anxious whenever the camera comes on. I know I do. I like to just shake it out, just do a little shimmy. Just try to expel that energy out of our body and focus on some breaths, release, settle down, get into it. Next, I want you to make eye contact with the lens and really look through the lens. Like you're looking and talking to somebody and you're looking at their eyes, like how you would imagine doing that. And try and connect like you would be having a conversation with someone else. Imagine you are speaking to an audience, not just at them. Like you're speaking to the camera, not just at it. Now it's time to hype ourselves up. Bring out the energy. We've calmed down, we've connected. Performative energy, like we're on camera, we need to amp up their energy so we sound more enthusiastic and exciting and smile a lot. No, this is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the natural energy and excitement that you have to be sharing and talking about whatever it is that you're going to be talking about today. Like, I'm really excited to speak about yapping on camera and sharing these tips to help you improve. That is where my natural energy and excitement and passion is coming from. But I want you to be careful here because I don't want you to rush. It's really easy to, when you start amping up your energy, that you start rushing through your script. Slow it down. And make sure we are letting each word land when it needs to. Pauses are okay. So 2 really good ways to practice doing this off camera is, one, by just reading kids' books. If you have children, then you probably have some kids' books around, but read them out loud and practice emphasizing all of the words because there's a lot of really fun words there. Another way is by dictation. I dictate everything, and that's basically when you just talk into a mic and it just types it out for you. It is game-changing with how fast and efficient it can make you. So how I can reply to so many of your guys' comments with like in-depth replies is because I'm dictating them. I'm talking them out. So this is just another way that you can practice speaking out loud and hear yourself. I'm gonna leave a link to the app that I use that like helps me with my dictation down below. It's an amazing app, by the way. Like everything I said sounds great, right? But then you turn the camera on and you're like, everything I just told you just goes out the window and you are in presenter mode. And this is something that I personally fall into so quickly. Every video I still have to kind of remind myself, I'm not a presenter, I'm not a host, I'm just trying to talk to the camera and be myself and be casual. They don't want to see someone just stand up here and here's my facts, here's my presentation, learn from me. They want to feel something. So one way that you can practice this is by warming up. Think of it like any time you do any sort of exercise, you're doing strength training, you're doing running, you're doing, again, any activity in general, you are going to do a warm-up. Why? Because your muscles are stiff. You are stiff, and that helps you perform better and get the most out of your activity and also prevents injury. Why don't we do that for filming? Before you start recording for real, I want you to do a little bit of a warm-up. So what I mean by this is I want you to turn your camera on, start recording, but just start talking about whatever. So like, I'll look at this lamp and be like, oh, that's my lamp, I like it. And I put it on some books because I saw a Pinterest photo of a lamp on books and it looked better than a lamp on a table. Riveting stuff, but you get the point. And this is exactly why I love re-recording my intros at the end of my filming session. So like at the end of this video, I'll go back and I can re-record the intro because I've loosened up, I've warmed up, and the intros are just so important. Or I just like recording 10 different intros. But what if you freeze up and you get really nervous when people are watching you? So right now I'm filming this in a studio. There's no one here watching me, no one here to judge me. But I was a travel vlogger for almost 15 years. So I filmed a lot in public spaces where there was a lot of people watching me. Now to me, filming in a totally public space, so like in a crowd of people, I find not as stressful as filming with, you have like a little crowd of people that are just like laser locked in on what you're doing. So there was this one time I was doing a brand deal for an airline in Vegas, filming a piece in a restaurant. So I had a rep from the airline, a rep from Visit Vegas, that's a tourism board. I had a rep from the hotel chain that the restaurant was in. I had a rep from the restaurant I was filming in, and I had a rep from the ad agency, the marketing agency that had put together this brand deal. So 5 different people watching me do my speaking to camera bits live. That was a very stressful video to film because they were all judging. They were all making sure I was saying the right things, hitting the right points in real time. And so how I got through that and how I get through filming in public is I put on horse blinders. That's my best way of describing it. I imagine that I have a set of horse blinders on, which are like little things that you put on horses to get them to just, I don't know, not be scared of the things in their peripheral vision. And so I imagine I have little horse blinders on and all I can see is the camera. Nothing else surrounding me exists or matters at that moment. And it's okay if I pause. I give myself extra time to pause. It's okay if I mess up. I just keep going. I'm not looking at their reactions or what they're doing or what they're saying. And if they're, ooh, she messed up there. Nope, I don't care. I don't care. I don't see you. And then I practice locking in. This is where the eye contact to the camera bit really, really comes in handy because it helps you kind of blur out that peripheral vision of yours and helps you ignore what's happening on the sides because you are locked into the camera. I'm gonna get what I need to say said, and then I can look around. And then I can say hi to the people and hope I didn't disappoint them. Because honestly, what is the worst that can happen? Well, in this case where the 5 reps were all watching me, they just tell me to do it again, right? Like, they're just like, oh, just film that again, but maybe say it like this. Okay, like, it's not a big deal. I am the queen of rambles. For one of these 10-minute videos, I think on average, it's like 2.5 hours of filming that gets cut down. Remember, guys and gals, we are editing these videos. So it doesn't matter that we ramble. We're gonna edit them. Yes, it will make the editing more inefficient because there's more things that we need to cut out. So use your editing as a way to analyze how you're speaking to camera and jot down notes on how you can improve it. Now, if you don't love the idea of spending 2.5 hours editing out your rambles, another thing you could do is just practice more on prepping yourself for the video before you film. Imagine that this YouTube video that you were going to film was actually just a presentation that you were doing on stage. How would you prepare to speak to an audience there? Well, you would probably write out all your notes. You'd probably write some like cue cards. You'd probably practice rehearsing what you're going to say. All of this without a camera being turned on. You just practice and prep beforehand. So when you do turn your camera on, you're just that much more familiar with the material. So it'll just be that much more easier for you to speak it when the time actually comes to do that. Which brings me to scripting and whether you should script something or you should just wing it. Now I've kind of flip-flopped in my YouTube journey between fully scripting out my videos and just having bullet points or just completely winging it. Like my vlogs, my travel vlogs are all off the cuff. Now I find that the most natural, the most magnetic way of speaking to camera is by not scripting it. It's just letting what you want to say come out naturally because I don't know, it just sounds more human. It just sounds truly more you because it just came from you in that moment. So what I find that works best for me right now is I will script out certain parts of my video word for word. So like my hook is always scripted out. Kind of the transitions to each of these sections of my video are always scripted because I want to make sure that they flow. The beginnings of each of the points that I usually cover are scripted, but then the like middle parts, the tension sections as they call it, are more off the cusp. There are points that I want to hit, or there'll be like a story that I want to tell. and I'll look over at my notes and I'll kind of just know what I want to talk about, and then I'll just look back at you and I'll start saying it. And usually it takes me a few times to do that, and each time I say it is slightly different, but I'm generally getting the points that I wanted to get from my notes across to you. Because I found that when I was fully scripting out my videos, I would just get kind of hung up on making sure that I said everything, that I covered every line that I had spent time writing out to you. And it made me just start and stop. It made it just feel less dynamic. But what if your content is very technical and it's really hard for you to wing? Like, there are numbers, there are points, dates, all this information that needs to be said accurately in the video. Now, I'm anti-teleprompter for probably about like 90% of videos out there. Like, you shouldn't use a teleprompter because it is really hard, in my experience, to use a teleprompter and come across as natural sounding. Because what ends up happening is you just end up reading. And when I'm reading you something, it always, at least in my experience, it just sounds like I'm reading. It's a lot harder for me to connect like I'm talking to you because I'm just reading to you. And I found that it just wasn't as engaging of a video. You could see it in my eyes, you could hear it in my voice. I felt it when I was watching back those videos that like it just wasn't me. It just wasn't as natural. But here's my caveat. So there was a Canada travel guide that we did on my channel that was very info heavy and very specific. We covered like every single province, the names of national parks, the names of activities, the names of cities, the names of things to do. So for that, instead of taking like 5 hours to make sure I was getting all these and trying to memorize them, I used a teleprompter. Because in that case, I wanted to make sure I was getting all of these facts right. Another time is when we were filming a Westphalia walkthrough video about like what to look for when you're buying a Westphalia, and there was a lot of information in it and highly like technical little bits that I wanted to get right. So we used a little portable teleprompter that was on the camera with my phone so I could get through that video, and it didn't take us 5 hours to film. And if your videos are also very technical, then you might find that that trade-off is worth it for you too. You can also use a teleprompter kind of like training wheels on a bike, where you can start with it and you can use it as a way to guarantee that you can get these videos out, because it won't take you 5 hours to edit. You'll be a little quicker there. You can get through your scripts a little easier. You can get out of your head, and then slowly and surely you can start removing those training wheels as you build up those reps and those skills. Now, once you start filming yourself a lot and putting yourself on camera, you start to notice little things about you that you might not like. One of the first things that I noticed when I started filming was that my face is very asymmetrical, which I never noticed in my whole life up until I started filming myself and I could see it on camera. Like, my eyebrows are like distant cousins. They're not sisters. I noticed that my teeth were not straight, and it really bugged me. So much so that I ended up getting Invisalign halfway through my YouTube journey, because that's how much it bugged me. I just was constantly staring at my teeth. When I gained over 50 pounds during my second pregnancy, I didn't want to film. Because I didn't feel like myself. I hated how I looked, as well as when I gained over 20 pounds when I was stuck on a tropical island for 60 days and I just ate my feelings. It's hard to film and be confident when we don't really feel confident. And when you start to feel self-conscious like that, your presence is naturally going to shrink and it's going to drop. So if you are also in this boat, then one of the best things that you can do is work on feeling better in your body, doing the things that would make you show up and feel more confident on camera outside of being on camera. Or just mentally accepting the fact that your face is asymmetrical and there's nothing you can do without going through plastic surgery, which I don't recommend people doing. So, because if you like yourself first, you'll naturally show up more and attract more people to like you too. And last, my number one rule is to just have fun. Have fun with this. Be playful, be excited. Speak about something that you're just naturally excited to talk about, and it will just radiate out of you. People follow people who are passionate about things, so you need to just bring that passion. So you've got how to talk down, right? Next is, where do you put the camera? How do you set up lighting, sound? Well, good thing I did a whole studio tour that I break down all of the gear that I use and how I set things up and how I create this. You can go give that a watch right here.